Is polygamy for everybody? No. Is monogamy for everybody? No. Is marriage for everybody? No. That's also another foolish argument. So please don't sound childish when you say, well, it ain't for not everything is for everybody and nothing. It doesn't make it. You know what? Most things aren't for everybody. Assalamu alaikum, peace. I'm Coach Nazir.
And I'm his wife, Coach Fatimah.
And I'm Coach Nyla. I am also his wife.
We are the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as the authors of the new book,
Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored.
With that being said, today we want to address something that we kind of call living in the land of make-believe. And if you like Mr. Rogers, while growing up, thankfully none crazy rumors have come out about him, then you understand the land of make-believe, or what is also known as Delusions of Grandeur. Now, again, we focus heavily on polygyny education or polygamy education because it doesn't get its fair airplay when it comes to marriage, and it's simply another form of marriage. However, there are delusions of grandeur that go on about monogamy. And again, we're pro-moral. So whether you're practicing polygyny or whether you're practicing monogamy, hey, no problem. We just encourage people to be pro-morals more than anything. But with that being said, we get a lot of, well, I'm going to say get a lot. We get people that have delusions of grandeur. And you could be affected by that. We were affected by that. I know I was when I first heard of polygamy back in the day. Like, okay, well, they still do that? Or it's something from the days of old, ancient times, whatever, right? So we just want to talk about how that's going. How's monogamy going in general when a person says, well, I believe in one man, one wife, this is the way it should be, and blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay, we know part of it is from social engineering, and without jumping into that, I'm just gonna go ahead and maybe name some people that you may or maybe you don't know. But these people are all practicing monogamists. All practicing monogamists. Maybe let's see if you recognize anybody. You got Reverend Jesse Jackson, Keep Hope Alive, Rainbow Coalition, all that stuff, who some have blamed for being part of the assassination of Martin Luther King, but that's not
another video
here nor there.
Another video.
But we got Jesse Jackson. What about former President Bill Clinton? Or Reverend Jimmy Swaggart, Pastor John Gray, or Pastor Carl Lentz? What about Governor Elliot Spitzer, former governor, New York, or Congressman Anthony Weiner? Yes. Business and rap mogul Sean Carter, also known as Jay-Z, comedian and Kevin Hart, or Will Smith, by the way. Chris Rock, also, right? Shaquille O'Neal, right? Tiger Woods.
He just recently said he's the one that messed up his marriage. He just recently admitted that. He said it was not her. We knew that. I mean, he didn't have to tell us.
Well, it's a whole lot going on there, but Kobe Bryant. Talk about Kobe, or Martin Luther King Jr. How about that? And sad part about his situation, they got all kind of auto recordings and everything to this day. Or, rapper Offset.
Oh, Lord.
Right? You got Mario Lopez or Pastor Ted Haggard, who was really anti-gay and strong anti-gay and going against the gays and was caught with his gay lover. All right. Tristan Thompson, Lamar Odom, Alex Rodriguez, Sammy Sosa, Arnold Schwarzenegger, also governor and sports guy, right?
Yeah, his was in-house.
Then you got LeBron James as well. You got MJ, the two GOATs, right? Of course, MJ's first and then LeBron, but hey, nevertheless, infidelity in monogamy. Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, Carmelo Anthony, David Beckham, you got Dwayne Wade, the list can go on with these celebrities. And I know you might be asking, well, these are celebrities, people go around, they got groupies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I agree. You have people that strongly have the ability, financial-wise, to practice polygamy, right? They can have multiple wives. But what does that really mean? That means a man must be responsible. He has to take care of it. It's not just for a fling or so on. Nobody's thinking about the women's mental health that's participating in this. Not as though they're innocent either, but I'm just saying. All right, these are men of means. So what about men without means? So do you have a broke cousin, uncle, you know what I'm saying? Friend, somebody living on your block, all right? Father, granddad, somebody that, you know, I mean, this ain't new. The song Papa Was a Rolling Stone is not new. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of things about it. But I'm just saying this is monogamy realism. And if you want to look up stats, you'll come across a number of different things, whether it be from the men spouses cheating between 20 to 45%. Some people admit to, and women, usually 20 to 25%. So this is the state of monogamy. Furthermore, you know, there are also questions and comments, things about, well, what about STDs? And you really blame that on polygamy, where things are known and it is what it is, you know, it's known. It's not somebody creeping around, sleeping around, tricking off, none of that stuff, right? But last year, the 20 million new STIs, sexually transmitted infections or diseases, we call STDs as we grew up, was between the age group of 15 to 24. 15 to 24. Unmarried, non-committed relationships. So you're directing your anger at polygamy as though that's a problem when it's about family building and growing and leading. See, you see us three right now, but you don't see our children playing and all this type of stuff that, you know, around our area. But regardless of that, whether or not you just, you know, you're three people, no children at all. You know what I'm saying? But you're open, you're honest, you're building on something. It's totally different than the delusions of grandeur about the stats in monogamy. So anyway, I want to chime in on that.
The different things when you mentioned about the STIs, because we hear a number of people that state that, like, okay, well, make sure she's tested and make sure this and that, whatever. Or I'm nervous about the fluids in the mixture and this and that, whatever. Like that stuff doesn't happen. I think it was a comment that stated that, aren't you, when you're with your spouse or you're with someone, you're with the other people that they've been with, and okay, if you're not a virgin, which I know a number of people aren't when they got married and this and that, whatever. I mean, you know, some probably were.
But they still wear white dresses.
But I don't know. I still don't know about that thing and why. And when it comes down to it, but then they'll say, well, you know, what about these fluids? What about the other people that you slept with prior to getting married? Is he okay with, you know, those fluids and everything like that? Since you stated, and there's people out there that will state that, well, these are certain things that you can't wash off with soap and water. I don't know where they got that stuff from, but it is what it is. Well, maybe that's another delusion of grandeur or the land of make-believe or something like that, when you want to make something seem negative to make whatever situation that you're in seem better. So there's been a number of those things.
Or that you think you're in.
Or that you think you're in. And another thing, even about the kids. There were comments before, too. And people would say that out, well, the kids are destroyed in polygyny and this and that, whatever. And I'm like, I've known a number of monogamous marriages where the kids are gone, destroyed, because they have parents arguing and fighting with each other consistently, horrible divorces, or people who decided not to get a divorce for the children and stayed and messed it up a whole lot because they was like, you know what, we're just gonna live as roommates, or I'm gonna do my thing over here. Will and Jada made that comment. It was like, we ain't gonna get a divorce. He'll be over here on this side of the house. I'll be over here on this side of the house. We'll have our respective people or whatever the case may be, and we just gonna live that way. What does that do for the children? You know, it's like that's.
I mean, I think we could all agree that the vast majority of people that have family issues, whether it's parental-child issues and stuff like that, since we have the stats and data on it, clearly it's coming from either unmarried, broken homes or monogamous households. You know, polygyny is not something that's practiced on a massive scale like that to even be trying to collect data. So, yeah, the majority of people that, you know, is going to therapy or having some issues and challenges, polygamy didn't play a problem there.
Yeah.
So, just a reminder.
It didn't in mine when I grew up. And then even when you talk about the broke cousins and everything like that, I had a number of broke cousins and uncles and everything that were playing around with people's hearts and emotions. So they didn't have to be in polygamy. It wasn't about
people
polygamy.
that were willing to do it.
But then when I talked to them about polygamy, they was like, man, if that was an issue, I mean, if that was a thing, if I could do that, then, hey, I would.
And sometimes, you know, we talked about it before, people like to and prefer a beautiful lie than the ugly truth on things.
I think another thing that people do, one major thing is they project onto people that practice polygyny what went wrong in their childhood, what went wrong in their own marriage, monogamy or polygynous, but mainly I've been noticing, especially in our comments, I said, this is a lot of projecting. This is not about us. This is about childhood trauma that, you know, some things you might have witnessed. Like, of course, the infidelity. I know my dad and my grandfather were not the pictures of really good husbands. So my grandpa was married once. My dad was married twice, and in all those instances, they failed at it because they weren't able to place honor upon what they were doing. And I said, if they could just be honorable with their actions, this wouldn't hurt so bad. You know, after you grow up and you can look back on your childhood trauma and say, you know what, if they had this option, like we were stating earlier, it's honor in it. But we don't, you don't want to place honor on something that we're not used to.
Right.
Societal norms are not used to polygyny, so it can't be honorable because we don't want it to be honorable, because then it would make us feel bad in our monogamous relationship with our husband and our wife at the time. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe that thinking is backwards. That's the backwards thinking, is not wanting to place honor upon something because a bunch of old guys sat around the table and decided, okay, we're going to make this where this is dishonorable. We're going to make the law this way, and then we're going to indoctrinate everyone to not agree with polygyny. Because we ain't paying for nobody but the one we living with. And anybody else, we just going to have fun with them. And take the honor away from it. Because that's what happened. A bunch of old folks sat around a table, white people, white men, and decided we're making this illegal. We're making this where it is not a societal norm. And I said, that's a lot of, it's not illegal, but society, there's conditioning behind what we believe and what we don't believe. So when we talk about limiting beliefs, I was like, this is one of my limiting beliefs as a 20-year-old wife, that, okay, it's supposed to be this way because this is how I was raised, and this is what it's supposed to look like: a man and a woman, a man and a woman, a man and a woman.
Oh, Disney princess syndrome.
Right? And somebody, this is kind of off subject, but one of the societal norms, especially in the West, I saw this thing on TikTok. It was a Native American girl, hair almost down to her knees. And she said, somebody asked me, why don't you cut your hair? She said, because I remember a time where it was illegal for us to grow our hair long. So we grow it as long as we can and we do not touch it. Because a bunch of folks said, this is savage. This looks ugly. We don't like this. Right? And I said, oh, wow, that's powerful. How many other things can we apply that to? Monogamy, polygyny. Because somebody didn't like it. Because a bunch of somebodies didn't like it, and they didn't want to put honor on more than one woman because they didn't want to pay mentally, physically, spiritually, financially in those areas. And I said, you know what? That's the backwards thinking. Those are the things that we got to unlearn. So it's better to just have a husband and a wife, let him cheat, and then go, well, he cheated on me, girl. Not he put honor, got another wife, and made his actions honorable. So it's so much that I had to unlearn, even from monogamy to polygyny. It's not this blindsidedness that everybody thinks it is. Sometimes you just got to dig deeper and think about things differently than what they put up there.
Yeah, that goes to questioning yourself. That's what thinking is. When you think on something, it's basically asking yourself a series of questions.
Yeah.
And the better and higher level of thinking is the better answers you're getting from the better questions you're asking yourself.
Yeah.
So the delusions of grandeur and the projecting, y'all did a whole video on projecting. You know what I'm saying? And what's right, what's wrong, and what's this and what's that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, this is an easy way to determine something, regardless of your background, your faith, and all that, is ask yourself, if everyone did it, then what would be the likely result? So, for example, we don't have the whole same-sex issues and stuff like that and challenges. We don't like to come from, well, Islam says this or this scripture says this and da-da-da, because everyone doesn't believe in that scripture. But one thing everyone can say scientifically is that if everybody did this, then that's the end of the human race. Conversation over. So for us, we take it as, universally, morally, universe says, yo, that's not the way this go. And then the penalty for that is the end of you. You know what I'm saying? We can do that without getting scriptural and spiritual and stuff like that, even though, of course, the one who created us knows our design best and gives it to us. Now, is polygamy for everybody? No. Is monogamy for everybody? No. Is marriage for everybody? No. That's also another foolish argument. So please don't sound childish. When you say,
Right.
well, it ain't for every,
You know,
yeah,
like,
not
I
everything
never
is for
said it
everybody and
was.
nothing. It doesn't make it. You know what? Most things aren't for everybody.
Right.
All right, 7 billion people on the earth. There are some basic things like, you know, food, shelter, clothing, water,
And we
stuff
never
like that.
said it.
You know what I'm saying? So let's be real about it and then be mature about it so we can stop with the delusions of grandeur. Whether or not it's for you, that's really up for you to
Right.
decide.
You grown.
But we do want to let you know that we already know the reality of stuff. We're not, oh, we're just born
We're
in
not
polygyny,
blind.
learned this and da-da-da, didn't have life. Now, we had life. We know what it is. You know what I'm saying? I had uncles and people that, you know, great uncles like, yo, you know, da-da-da, you know, everybody step out here once and all this, things like that. Nah, that's not how that works.
Campaign.
Either you're going to be a man and step up and go ahead and take care of your family and take care of your stuff and be responsible, or you're not.
Yeah,
That's what it comes to.
simple.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, anything else with this land of make-believe?
It's a number of things, but this is.
We'll keep going. We'll
keep
make
this
it a
with
little
this
series.
video,
Living
right.
there.
We're gonna
For real.
keep this video kind of.
For real. And if you watch Mr. Rogers, you know he always came back to reality, right?
Out there.
Exactly.
For real.
Pack your
Evict
bags and-
yourself from
Pack
there.
your bags and leave the land of make believe. Because we had to do it all at different times, I'm sure, in our
Oh,
lifetime.
indeed.
For real, for real. All right, with that being said, we want you to put Land of Make Believe in the comments. Let us know you saw and watched the entire video. We definitely appreciate that. YouTube likes the algorithm. Feel free to share the information, subscribe, get the notification bell, all that kind of
Right.
stuff as you rock out with GLC.
Make sure you are growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly.
And connecting on a high level every
Every
single
single
day.
day.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.
Here are 3 ways outstanding personal relationships can help you.
Make sure you guys are following us on our social medias at Outstanding Personal Relationships on YouTube and Facebook, and on IG at Outstanding Relationships, and also Clubhouse under our names.
And make sure you go to outstandingpersonalrelationships.com and sign up for our email list. And there you will get updates on our new book, Let's Talk Polygyny Uncensored.
Absolutely. And last but not least, when it comes to coaching or counseling, if you want to work with us one-on-one or in group settings, make sure you're on that website and reach out to us because we do have very limited spots and we usually have a wait list. So with that being said, GLC.
Make sure you are growing intentionally.
Loving fearlessly.
And connecting on a higher level every single day. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.
Peace.